What's up, guys and girls? Luke Wyatt Gilbert with Vicariously Podcast. We are here in sunny Southern California, actually getting ready to walk into the offices of Mr. John Carter. He is the co-founder and CEO of two companies, MOGL and EMPYR. Check him out, the links are below. Today is just the final 5 questions with him. Please do go to our Vicariously Podcast website to see more, or you can go on to iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, any of those for the full 1-hour podcast. Definitely a badass dude doing some amazing things with a company that is changing the way that you shop online, save money online, give to charities, a whole slew of stuff. Check him out. Enjoy today's final 5 questions with John Carter of EMPYR and MOGL.com and the MOGL app. That's it. All right, so here we go. Final 5 questions. The first one, what does success mean to you, or how would you define success?
I'm actually gonna steal this one from Tony Robbins because it's so perfect. He said, and I'm gonna butcher it at the same time, it's something like, success is being able to do what you want, when you want, with whomever you want, wherever you want, as much as you want. I might have actually got that right. So that's really powerful, right? Like if I want to go to Costa Rica and go surf for a week, can I do that right now? Like in my case, sorta. My board might be like, hey dude, take it easy. You just went on vacation 2 weeks ago. So I try to have that balance, but yeah, having that total freedom is definitely a great definition for success.
If you were to give a young entrepreneur any advice, what would it be?
I would tell you to be prepared for it to take 10 to 20 years before you achieve success, and really like the kind of success we just talked about. I think a lot of entrepreneurs coming in, reading about Snapchat or Facebook and be like, my idea is so good, I'm going to be rich, in 2 years. And really the first 1 to 5 years, you're pretty much eating top ramen, figuring shit out, failing all the time. Year 5 to 10, you're sort of not fucking up everything until some things are going right. And then by year 10 to 20, in that range, you're actually a decent entrepreneur. You've got the 10,000 hours of experience behind you, and you can actually build businesses that produce profits, and you can you probably have some level of success in that range. There's always outliers. Some people get lucky, but I think it's really smart to plan on it being 10 to 20 year run.
All right, you kind of touched on this earlier, but if you were to go back and change one thing in your personal or professional life, what would it be?
Yeah, I was saying I might have picked better business models. My first business model, selling baby products on the internet, was a really bad idea. So maybe not doing that. But like I said before, I learned so much from that crappy business model. It forced me to learn so much because it didn't go viral. It wasn't a huge success from the get-go. So I really had to work hard at it, and working hard, you just tend to learn so much. It's a stupid analogy, but it's kind of like the pressure on the coal that turns into the diamond. The more pressure the entrepreneur goes through, I think they do become stronger minded, stronger willed, and they just become better. You can almost sense it. Like when you sit down with an entrepreneur that's been doing this stuff 15, 20 years, and they've been trying for really big businesses, the 100 million plus category, they have this sort of like, just nothing phases them. And you can talk, and there's no bullshit, because they've sort of cleaned all that out. They don't have time for bullshit. Company was going to fail multiple times. They had to cut right down to what matters. And they've been hit and kicked and punched so many times, and almost sort of died company-wise so many times that they can just take an amazing amount of abuse. So yeah, I think, even though I wish I had a better business model, in a way I'm fortunate that it turned out the way it did, because it made me a more battle-hardened entrepreneur, and that's starting to pay dividends now.
If you could do any job in the world, what would it be?
That's an easy one. I would do exactly what I'm doing right now. I love the company here. You could give me, I say this a lot, but you could give me $1 billion, and it sounds silly, but I would be doing pretty much the same thing I'm doing now. The only thing that I would change is maybe I've got a couple side projects that I would love to, potentially be able to give a bunch of money to, so I wouldn't have to raise money, and I could see if these things work. These are all like passion products that kind of make the world a better place if they work. So just being able to fund them all myself, sort of limitlessly, would be the only thing I would change if you gave me $1 billion.
Favorite vacation spot?
This is going to sound kind of braggy, but I love Necker Island, Richard Branson's private island. I was very lucky to get a board member of mine, knew him or knew a friend of his. He invited me for a week. That was like 7 or 8 years ago. I went, had the most amazing time. He's always been somebody I looked up to a lot, very inspired by his book, Losing My Virginity. I read that when I was going through a lot of struggles, and he struggled for like 20 years before he had his first big payday. It's like, if Richard can do it for 20 years, I can do it for 20 years. And so I owed a lot to him for the inspiration he gave me. And when I met him, he's a humble guy, super down to earth, very interested in people. And he took the time to sit down with me and talk to me. And he's been a partner on MOGL's side. He's, we're the official dining program of Virgin America. And he's just a great guy. And so now I've been going every year since, and I think it's been eight or so times. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, the dude knows how to live a really good life. He has an island that he lives on. It's not like his vacation home. He lives there. He's like 60 staff. He kiteboards in the morning. He paddle surfs all day. I don't know how he gets any work done. Like, it's just, I see him out there just like hanging out, having fun. He doesn't drink too much. I think that's where I go wrong. Every time I go on the island, it's wasted like every night. And he's just always like cool and calm and just got shit together. But it's pretty amazing. You get to live like a billionaire, and you also get to talk to great entrepreneurs and meet really inspiring people, because the people on the island are really, sort of great, cool people doing interesting stuff. So it's got it all.
Where is that?
It's in the British Virgin Islands.
I really appreciate your invite. I'm looking forward to going with you and as your +1 next time. All right, last question. We'll wrap this thing up here. And I have no idea where you're going to go with this, because it was kind of a random start to our day. But why did you accept my offer to sit down and be on the Vicariously podcast?
I really love helping other entrepreneurs, especially ones that are in earlier stages, because I got a lot of help when I was getting started from other entrepreneurs, like, for example, Richard Branson writing a great book that showed me how he did it, and that it really inspired me. So I think when people hear the story of struggle, I think anytime you're struggling, you want to hear other stories of struggle, because it makes you feel like you're not alone, and you're really not. I mean, every entrepreneur, especially the most successful ones, that can tell you 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 or 20 stories of almost dying, their entire company being wiped off the map, within weeks of running out of cash, sometimes hours within running out of cash, and they pulled it out, because they didn't give up, and they kept going. And I think the more stories you hear like that, the better. And so I enjoy sharing my story with as many people as I can, and I enjoy reading other people's stories and listening to other people's stories. I think as entrepreneurs, we've got to do that, because this is like really hard to pull this off, and so we need to team up and work together. So yeah, I'm happy to share.
Very well said. John Carter with EMPYR and MOGL. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. Vicariously Podcast, we are out.
Peace out.